Turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. Turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. Turtle. Beat. Turtle. Beat. Turtle. Beat. Turtle. Beat. Turtle. Beat. Turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. Turtle. I like 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 turtle.
All right, what's up, Turtle Riders? Welcome to the Turtle Boy Live Show. What the hell's going on with this light here? Can we fix this? How's that going? Is that better? Whatever, just going to be a little weird. That's okay. All right, welcome to the live show, guys. This is Uncle Turtle Boy here. I've gone ahead right now, and I've shared this link to the Clarence Woods Emerson page, as well as the Uncle Turtle Boy page. I'm going to go ahead and share it on Twitter right now as we speak. Go ahead and give each of those pages a like and a follow if you haven't done so already. But also make sure you follow. I'm going to go ahead and share it on Twitter. All right, go ahead and follow me on Twitter if you're on there already. I think I'm up to like 3,500 followers. That's not too shabby. So I'm going to share right there. Let people know we're live. You can follow me on Twitter. I have two Twitter accounts at @TB_Aidan. That's at @TB_AIDAN, as well as at TurtleBoyPhone. And Bret, I was a little freaking flustered there trying to get this all set up, so I didn't have time to wrench you. But that is the real Bret. I'll give him a wrench after this one. He deserves a wrench, obviously. I can't believe he didn't have one already. But anyway, that's where you can follow us. All right, so welcome, guys. I'm here to talk about. I have a special guest coming on in a little bit. He works for a nonprofit, a suicide prevention nonprofit called Hidden Battles, and he's done a lot of good work. He's been personally affected by this. Suicide in the past, and he does a lot of really good work in the community. So I want to have somebody on here to kind of make a positive out of a negative, because I've been kind of open as much, as open as I can be about my situation here. It is not fun at all, to say the least. To say I'm like stressed out is the understatement of the century. I would say more like consumed with, it's just hard to focus at all. It's hard because of anxiety and depression. It's hard to do anything at all besides, you have the good times. You have the times when you're like, yeah, fuck this. I'm over this. Right. I beat this, and that feels good when you have those moments. But then you have a lot of bad moments too, right? You have a lot of shit where you're just like it. And I'm not going to lie. Like I had some of those moments today, and it just, you realize like, it's not never going to go away, but, it takes a long time. These things can't be rushed. Basically, these things can't be rushed. And it's important to not only seek doctor's help, but therapists, medication if necessary. And everybody handles it differently. Okay. A lot of people wouldn't talk about this stuff, but that's just not who I am. And I feel like if I was not who I am, like I would just be more miserable if I didn't talk about it. And so talking about it with you strangers is actually therapeutic. And so I enjoy doing it. And I've gotten a shitload of messages from people about this. And I'm going to read just a couple of them to show you how this, it's like touched my freaking heart. Some of the shit that people have sent to me, complete strangers that just want to reach out. Like, let's see here. There's some of these that people have talked about their own one. I completely understand what you're going through. I'm a survivor of suicide attempts. I know how dark depression can get. I just want to let you know something. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Also, pain is only temporary. You never know when things will change. I know it sucks being down, trust me, but remember, this depression can be broken down yeah. So what else? We have another one here. Good morning. Today is going to be a great day. I too go through serious depression and fixate on suicide at times. I don't know that I could ever go through with it since I have a child, but I wanted to tell you that many of your articles have turned my frowns upside down and brought me so much laughter. You have definitely flipped many of my day's moods with your work, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Another one says, I know we don't know each other, and we probably don't even have the same views on the world and all that. But if you ever need to reach out to someone or you need a friend, just hit me up. Keep being you, man. Turtle Boy is one of the best things that could have happened to online news media. And you have a legit purpose for being here. Embrace it. Like, I can't, he goes, I have severe depression too, so I get it. But you can't let it get to you. Like little things like this from complete strangers. Another one that I just want to commend you for doing what you're doing. The mental health stigma is out of control. Also, you're not alone. A lot of us, including myself, suffer from anxiety and depression. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I struggle with crazy thoughts also. Mental health issues run in my family. I lost a loved one to suicide years ago. She was only 54. So get the help you need. God bless you. Another one says, I appreciate your candidness. I too have struggled. I lost a child to suicide. I had experienced a lot of trauma before then. The lockdowns affected me in such a profound way. My traumas all came back to haunt me. I lost almost 30 pounds and I wasn't even overweight. I started smoking again to curb my anxiety. Sadly, it has helped, although I don't encourage anyone else to use that as a coping technique. Another person says, I'm in the same boat. Everything you said and have said, and everything you said and have panic disorder sprinkled on top. It's been a 20-year ordeal for me. I have a wife, child, nice little existence, but I still have these times. I've done time away in a hospital. Hang in there. This will pass. I'm assuming that this is like a regular guy, right? Like a regular guy, nice home, nice family, nice job and stuff like that. And to get messages from people like this, that like, it shows you that like this affects everybody. I mean, and it's better to talk about it. I feel like than to just let it linger, because if you let it linger, you're just going to get caught up in it, and you can't get advice from people too. You'd be surprised. Your friends that you haven't talked to about this stuff, they're probably going through the same shit or have gone through the same shit, because life sucks, man. Sometimes life is hard, right? Like, and it's relatively easy now compared to, imagine we were living through like a war, like World War II. You lost multiple brothers or sisters in war, and there's nothing you can do about it, some shit like that. But because we live in a relative time where we don't have, mass plagues or anything like that, or wars, major wars where lots of people are dying, I think we get comfortable with this stuff, and people don't understand that there are like minor things in life, right, that shouldn't be a big deal, can consume you. They can. And if you let it get to you, thank you, Dimple Cheeks. I appreciate that. And if you let it consume you, then you're going to find yourself in a situation like I am, right? And I remember reaching out to people, like I reached out to the wrong people clearly, but when I was feeling like this on that Saturday and I felt desperate and I started having a panic attack, like I should have texted my mother. I mean, I should have texted somebody that like really I knew cared about me, and I think that was my big mistake. And so it's important to have resources like that close by. And that's what these organizations do, right? And the guy I'm going to bring on in a moment, he's a complete stranger to me. This is my first time ever seeing him, actually, his face. And thank you, Amanda says, thank you for being public and helping others who can't and aren't able to open, how they aren't alone. Keep up this open dialogue. We all have different struggles and need to talk, right? So thank you very much, Amanda. Very true. But, this guy I'm going to bring on, he's a complete stranger to me. As a few days ago, another turtle rider reached out to me and said that she's gone to him before when she had similar issues with stuff like this, bad thoughts, etc. And he really helped her out a lot. And he runs a nonprofit. And so I reached out to him and he was happy to come on. And so I'm going to bring on Scott right now. How you doing, Scott?
Hey, how's everything? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. So tell me a little bit about your organization, Hidden Battles.
So Hidden Battles, we are a therapeutic, non-clinical group We are a 501c3 component fund of Greater Lowell Community Foundation. We do activity-driven stuff. We do rucking. We do cooking classes for couples. We do movie nights for families. We really, our goal is to get our veterans and first responders out and off the couch and out of that dark place, like you were mentioning, that you experience, into a community that of like-minded people that understand us, and just like I said, build that community where we're comfortable and we feel engaged and in like our safe space in a sense.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, when I reached out to you, you didn't know me, but you were still like, I want to talk to you, right? Like, let's go out, let's talk, stuff like that. So do people reach out to you when how does this work? How do people find you?
So yeah, people find us on social media. They find us through word of mouth, like you did. What we do is, it's like, me necessarily, I don't turn my back on anybody. Our organization, yes, is for first responders, veterans, trauma medical staff, stuff like that. But I've said it before, like, post-traumatic stress isn't exclusive to anybody that's worn a uniform. I mean, somebody who's been sexually abused is post-traumatic stress. Somebody who's been in a verbal and a physical relationship that's been abusive has post-traumatic stress. Somebody who's fallen off their bike, severe car crash, seen the death of a family member, post-traumatic stress, and we all process it a little different. Hidden battles, our programs seem to work a lot better. Being a retired police officer and an Army veteran, our programs seem to work a lot better for our people, the people that are like me in a sense.
Because obviously first responders on a daily basis, they're going to car crashes. They're the first ones to call a mom to tell them that their kid has died in a car accident. I mean,
we're more susceptible to trauma. Absolutely.
Right.
You know,
you're around it. That's what you do. You do traumatic situations on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
How long were you a cop for?
Was a cop for 17 years.
Okay. And did you leave it for any reason, like, or to?
No, I got into a serious car crash. I'm trying to center myself here. I got into a serious car crash and had a spinal cord injury, which made it so I couldn't perform my duties as a police officer anymore.
Okay.
Which and at that time I had a lot of free time, and like you, I was suffering through a lot of depression. I was injured. I was sitting on my back, a lot of time to think. A lot of my demons had started to creep up on me through bad calls at work, my military experience, childhood stuff, and the death of my brother. My brother was a corrections officer who took his life. So that really, it just built up on me because I was, I had that sit down. It was that time where my mind started doing a lot more than it should have been doing, So that's when it started kicking in. My wife had said to me at one time, she's like, well, you wanted to start something for your brother, Nicky. This is your time. So that's what we did. We started Hidden Battles. We started it. Initially, it was through rucking. I reached out to a bunch of Army buddies. I gained some weight. I said to them, hey, how can I get better? One of my Army buddies is very, very blunt. He said, you got to get off the couch, fat ass, start exercising. So I did. I started rucking. Rucking is, it's like weighted backpacks, and it's hiking in a sense, right? Distance hiking. It's a military term. So I started doing that. At first I was by myself. I would put out over the internet, hey, I'm going to be at this location at a certain time. Is that bothering you too, that I'm like kind of kitty corner?
No, not at all.
All right. So I started putting out over Facebook, hey, I'm going to be here at a certain time. Anybody wants to join me? And after like 4 weeks, nobody really joined me. So I joined an online veterans group on Facebook, and I put it out there. By like week 6, 7, and 8, I had like 20 people rucking with me.
How long ago was this?
This is 2017. We kicked off in June. So I started rucking right around April, May. And then what happened was in June, we ended up kicking off Hidden Battles. We went live with our Facebook. And as soon as we did, we were very unique to the mental health thing, especially with the unfit for duty stuff for police officers and veterans being afraid to, ask for help, or any public servant asking for help because of fear of jobs, Yeah. So when we kicked it off, a lot of people instantly thought that it was a great idea because nobody else was doing anything for us. And then what happened was we started getting money funneled to us, and we started to open up more programs that were for the couples, to almost like reintroduce each other to each other, get the trauma out of it, take away some of the financial stuff by creating events just strictly for couples. Then we decided to expand on that. And then we started to open up and making events for the couples and kids, or parents and kids, and just the family aspect, the whole family dynamic, you know, like renting movie theaters out and not charging anything. I mean, all our events are 100% free. You know, we fundraise, we get some sponsors to do all this stuff, so we can, you know, we can provide these services.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind me asking, what year did your brother pass?
My brother passed in 2012.
And how do you, like, when that happened, I mean, you fell into depression. What was that like?
So at first I didn't realize it was depression. I didn't know what the signs and the symptoms were depression. You know, and I'm going to name some of them. And when I name them, people are either going to shake their heads or they're going to go, wow, like now I see it. But like I started getting like lazy. I started like not taking as much pride in my self appearance. Like my uniforms weren't as you know, as good as they always were.
So you were still a police officer then?
No, yeah, I was then.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Then I started like just, you know, not being, I don't know, I wasn't as productive as I was. I was a traffic officer, and what I did was, you know, I was doing not bare minimum, but I wasn't doing as like my potential. I started not taking as much pride in a lot of stuff. I started losing focus. I started losing interest in a lot of things that I really enjoyed doing. I started to recluse a little. I started not hanging out around my friends, stuff like that. Stopped doing activities, and I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but that's what I was doing. So like a lot of depression was from that, because I found my brother. My brother was my best friend, you know. So then I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that like I was showing up to work late. I was getting written up and stuff like that. And it wasn't anything like, it wasn't like I was violating any policy procedures. It was just my work performance just sucked.
Yeah.
You know?
Why were you showing up to work late? I mean, if you don't mind.
I had no desire to get out of bed.
Yeah.
You know, I would get up like last minute instead of, you know, like everybody here. There's the guys that get up like 2 hours before they got to go to work. They make coffee, they sit down, they read the paper, go through their phone, stuff like that. No, I had it down to time. I said, all right, it takes me half an hour to get to work. If I get up at an hour before I have to get to work, I could shower, shave, get dressed, and get to work in an hour. And that's what I had become. And then eventually it was, if I get up in 15 minutes, I can get up, shower, shave, get in the car, get to work on time. And that's really what ended up. It was more of trying to find excuses to not do anything.
So, yeah, I mean, I feel you on that one about like the work performance. That was one of the first things I noticed, like when I realized something's wrong here, that like Monday comes around and I'm usually cranking out blogs, putting out content, doing what I do. And Monday came around and I'm just sitting there. I could barely force one out, and it wasn't good. And I was just happy to have it done. And then Tuesday came around, and again, I just did one. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I put on Instagram like a cry for help, because I didn't know I'd never talked about this with anybody. So I just put up on Instagram and Facebook just some passive aggressive like quotes about depression that I just found that like spoke to me and described how I was feeling. And I just put them out there on like a story. I've never done one of those. I guess they'd last like 24 hours, but people see them. And like I just started having people, including family, like reach out to me, because I hadn't told anybody. Like there's some things that you just don't feel comfortable telling people about the root causes of it, and you just like ashamed almost, like you don't want them to know about everything that's going on, because you'll feel like you're disappointing them or whatever. And yeah, like I just couldn't work, and I'm like, I can't do this. And so I mean, the more like on good days I can get some work done. Today I didn't have a good day today, and so I didn't get as much work done as I wanted to do, but I'm sure that was what it was like for you. No?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's like, you know, a lot of people, like I'm reading some of the comments here, right? And a lot of people, like I said, if people expect you to be like tough. You like, if you're the mom, they expect you to be the strong one of the family. If you're the dad, they expect you to be the strong one of the family. You know, everybody has their roles in their family and in society and at work and whatever. And a lot of people, you know, it's still that stigma, the stigma that if you get help or you ask for help, you're weak. And that's what we're trying to, we're trying to get out here tonight is you got to seek help. You got to reach for and grasp for something, whether it's calling a friend, whether it's, talking to a stranger, whether it's, texting 744-744. If you text 744-744, you're going to get somebody. You're going to be able to talk and text with that person. You know, I see in the background, you had the suicide prevention hotline up, stuff like that. Just, by all means, reach out. It's never a sign of weakness to ask for help. It isn't, There's so many different ways to get help. You can ask a friend, you can get therapy, you can go and you can join a support group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's so much to do. It's like the human mind is so fragile. Your mental health is so fragile that it's like, yeah, anything can trigger it. But it's if you ignore it, that's the biggest problem.
Right.
Just get help.
So how did, like, when this first happened to your brother, how did you get back on your feet? I mean, did you seek counseling?
Yeah, actually I did, but the counselors I started to see really didn't fit me. A lot of them didn't understand trauma. A lot of them want to know about my childhood. And that, listen, we all don't have perfect childhoods.
Mhm.
I think it builds character. It makes you who you are. Your childhood. It either softens you, weakens you, makes you stronger, and it can do all three. So they were really trying to focus on my childhood, and it really, if that was part of it, I don't know. But I know that my brothers, what helped with me and my brother was really what was my problem at that time.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
no, they didn't. Yeah, they weren't helpful at all. And what I did is I found comfort in talking with friends, talking with people who had been through similar things as me. I actually joined a bunch of other people, and we started doing fundraising for AFSP, so it's American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We started doing the overnight walk for them. They have chapters all over now, and that's a good organization to get involved with for some of your followers.
What's it called again?
Hmm?
What's the organization called?
It's called AFSP, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. They have chapters all over the place.
Okay.
They do a lot of community walks. They usually at colleges and stuff. They do like 5K walks. And yeah, Courtney just threw it up there. Thank you, Courtney. But yeah, they're a great organization, and I started doing a lot of fundraising for them. I started doing programs for them, getting involved with them, and that really helped me. There was about 20 people that we had gotten involved with, and they had become like a support group for us. During like fundraising season for stuff like that, we would actually get together every Tuesday night, and it was like a therapy session. We get together, we talk, we plan strategies on how we're going to raise money, how we were going to get programs off the ground to start working, to battle what we were going through and battle what, people we had walked for, like my brother, for coworkers, soldiers that I knew, stuff like that.
Yeah. So wait, you guys are located out of Lowell, right?
Yeah, we're out of Lowell.
Okay. Yep. And like, do you have a board of directors?
Yeah, we have a board of directors. So and we're all walks of life. We have first responders, we have firemen, we have clinicians that are on board with us. We have educators. So we're a real eclectic group.
Have you ever talked to anybody out of suicide?
I've talked to yeah, I will say I have. I've been through some peer support training. I've been through assist training. I've gotten calls where guys are contemplating suicide, and I've actually talked with them, and I've left my house at 2 a.m. to go be with them. I've helped people who have, like yourself, had thoughts and have been real low, and I meet with them constantly. And I even meet with people who aren't first responders or veterans. And like your fan that you had that reached out to you.
Yeah.
I met with that person a couple times, and like I talk to them constantly, and my phone's constantly going off. I'm constantly in a conversation with somebody about it.
Do you feel like this is like your life calling to do something like this?
Yeah, honestly, I think it is. I think I think if I turned some triumph into tragedy, from tragedy, I think of my brother's loss, and I mourn my brother daily. But I think if he had never taken his life, I never would have been able to reach out and help the people that have helped so far.
Yeah, because I mean, so did you see any signs from your brother prior, like anything?
Oh, well, you know what I did? We intervened twice. We had actually got my brother committed twice, both of them voluntary. We had talked him into getting help. And what I like to, I'm not sure if I coined this this phrase, but I like to call it the great pretenders. You find the people that take their lives, like the Robin Williamses of, like my brother was like that. My brother was like the funny one at the party. He was the great entertainer, constantly smiling, always, doing things for everybody else, right? The great pretenders. And as I started to get more training, I started to see a lot more of the signs and symptoms that he had been going through that would have been like a huge for me to try to intervene a lot earlier,
Yeah. Like, I think that's funny that you bring that up, because that's me in a nutshell, the great entertainer, right? Like the guy who's always supposed to be. And it's it's hard, man, you know, to keep that face on, especially.
Oh yeah.
And were the signs not really there with him, or?
You know what? At first, I didn't notice. But then after he took his life and I actually started to reflect on a lot of things, I did notice. I noticed a lot. Courtney, Out of the Darkness is actually the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. That is their big that's their big get together. They do the Out of the Darkness walks. So that's definitely them.
Okay.
But yeah, no, but back to the question. Yeah, no, I did see a lot of the signs. I saw a lot of signs that like I'd go over to see my brother, and my brother was he was an athlete. And I would go to his house at like 10 o'clock in the afternoon and he would still be sleeping, you know, never getting out of bed. And then he would get up and I'm like, hey, let's go do something. He's like, oh, you got to give me an hour to work out and then we'll go. So it was strange like that. And then he stopped like mountain biking. Then he started giving stuff away, which is a huge, like, that's a tell.
Giving stuff away?
Yeah. If somebody starts unloading their personal effects, that's a huge, you know, that's them planning on leaving, you know, they're thinking.
It also means they have a plan, because I remember when I was doing like intake for this stuff, that was like one of the first questions they asked me was, like, did you have a plan? I'm like, no, it was really spontaneous. It was completely like spur of the moment. What am I going to do? Freaking out kind of shit.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, if you're talking to somebody, because a lot of people will say, you know what, I'm thinking about suicide, and it not necessarily means that they're going to, you know, take their lives. But when you sit there and you ask them, like, are you planning on self-harming? And they say yes, and then you say, well, do you have a plan? And they say yes. That's immediately when you should dial 911 and get somebody there, because that's committance. They're you know, they're on that step of really doing it.
Right. Like a plan would be, you know, knowing exactly how they're going to do it, where they're going to do it, what time they're going to do it, and like you said, taking care of their affairs before they go away, writing a note, stuff like that.
Exactly.
And I assume the people that have a plan are much more likely to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was like you said, signs. Like with my brother had actually scraped off, you know, like you get your kids' names on the back window of your car, like, you know, be like Scott number 4, you know, Aiden number 3. I had noticed one day I went over his house and he had taken them off the back of his car, and that was kind of his, I'm getting rid of things. You know what I mean? It was easier. It was a disconnect for him to start getting rid of his personal things. And I didn't notice that. I didn't know that was one of a true sign, you know, a true tell that we were deep in this.
How did were your parents alive when this happened?
My mother still is. My father passed away now.
How did your mother deal with this?
She was heartbroken. Yeah. I mean,
did she struggle with the same things you did?
I don't think so. And I don't know. I mean, my brother was 12 years ago. Yeah. It was 43 when he took his life. And my mother's in her 80s.
Not married or anything?
No, going through a divorce. Yeah.
Do you think that contributed to it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was like we had talked on the phone. It's like Atlas holding the world. The more weight you put on it, the more it starts to crush you, you know, and that's realistically, that's what was happening to him. Yeah, you know, and no matter how many times we hung out, you know, it was like I said, that great pretender. He came over, he was always happy. Like kid, if I offered to come over for dinner, he was always there. You know what I mean? Never turned down a free meal. Always like there to give you a hand. You know what I mean? Never wanted to be alone. And I think it was like when he was alone, he started getting monkey brain. He started, you know, the thoughts started coming in, the darkness started seeping in. And that's what I really think really got to him.
Yeah. I mean, because, you know, I understand that deaths and stuff like that and seeing traumatic things, PTSD is obviously going to cause that. But like you said, something as simple as a divorce can also cause that. Because, I mean, just the mental, what I would assume what it does to people mentally, it's just you get used to a certain lifestyle, and then it all goes away, and you start wondering about, you know, what's going to happen now. You know, who am I going to live with? How am I going to pay my bills? Am I going to lose? Did he have kids?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes it obviously a million times harder. You know?
You take somebody's family away from them. Listen, homes, you can lose a home. You know, you can lose a car. You can lose. You know, you take somebody's family away from them, and that's a dark place. You know, that's a lot of people. The family is life, right? They do everything. Yeah, bless your heart. Divorce can cause peak and drop the D. It's post-traumatic stress. It's not a disorder. Okay, you can get rid of it with training and, you know, trained professionals. You can go get help and you can get rid of your post-traumatic stress. If not, you can cope with it. It's a disorder is something totally different. And let's drop that D.
Okay. Why don't we take it? Do you have anything else to add? I was just going to field some questions from people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel bad because I see there's a whole conversation going on, and I can't really scroll through it as fast to
Oh,
answer.
don't worry. That's just people talking, you know.
Okay,
It's
all right.
It's like live commentary. So
Okay.
if anybody has any questions, I'll start reading the comments now. If you guys want to ask any questions, I'll bring it up there. Thank you, Meg, who says my main issue getting help was going to getting it, and then them telling me my copay was going to be $750. Well, that's not good. Before I could walk through the door, things like that. That's insane.
Absolutely.
Have you heard stuff like that before?
Yeah, absolutely. My therapist didn't take health insurance. I had to pay cash.
You had to pay cash?
Had to pay cash.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Especially during now. I mean, I can't even book a therapist right now because they're so busy because of COVID. I mean, we have a serious mental health crisis in this country right now, and it's largely going undiagnosed, I think, like in a lot of people.
I know there was an amazing doctor out in California. I don't know if she's taking clients right now, but I know she does telehealth and she does a lot of stuff pro bono. And she also does stuff if depending on how much you can pay, what you can afford. She's not looking to get rich off of it. Her name is 𝗧𝗵𝘂𝗃𝗲. I know that I've heard her on podcasts before and she talks about that and she does that, but there's other doctors out there. And I think if you reach out to AFSP, they probably have some people that they can send you to. I mean, healthcare is trying to make money off healthcare, right? So, I mean, your healthcare provider is going to send you to somebody. You can also go to your human resources department and ask for anybody that they could recommend. But then it opens up the can of worms. Are you going to get talked about? And a lot of people know your story already, and I wouldn't be afraid of that. You know, when I went to reach for help and I went and got help, I was kind of afraid. I went to my department and told them I was starting to see somebody, and they were actually like, "Hey, good for you," you know, because it takes a lot, you know, to commit yourself to opening up and telling people your stories and to listen to criticism and, you know, to just leave it all out on the table like that. I mean, it takes.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like a problem I have. It's like just not wanting to talk about, like being embarrassed or just like, you know, keeping shit inside. And it's like, and then when you reach the position where you're like, you feel like your world's exploding, and then you can't tell people. It's like, and so, I mean, I've honestly felt more comfortable talking to strangers about it because strangers, you know, it is what it is. They don't judge.
Yeah. And well, you know what? Some people have like I can talk to anybody, and obviously you can too. But I will tell you, if you can't talk to a stranger, then call a friend. You know, you have friends that'll listen to you. You have friends that already know you and probably already have feelings that you are depressed or you have, you know, anxiety, and of waiting for you to just say something so they can feel comfortable to talk to you about it.
And I think what Bret says here, like being alone is like when I'm alone, that's when it's the worst time. You know, when I'm around, when I like to have my kids around because they just seeing them peps you up, you know, stuff like that. And even if it's just around friends and stuff like that, it's like you're less likely to think about it. When you're just alone, you're just with your thoughts. And you're susceptible to yourself, I think, in my opinion. I mean, that's what I've dealt with.
Yeah. And I mean, and like I said, the great pretenders, I mean, if you have that, you should probably seek counseling because of the fact that you can suppress a lot of it by going out and hanging out with people constantly, but you're really kind of band-aiding it. You know, you're not really taking care of the problem that you're dealing with.
That's a good point. Yeah. Because like, it would be good that night. And then the next day, what you're back to square one kind of.
Exactly. And I will tell you, like a lot of people, especially like with drinking's a depressant, right? Marijuana is a depressant. CBD, it's a totally other story, but you should watch your consumption of depressants. You know what I mean? A lot of people like, oh, I smoke weed and I feel better. You're masking it, you know. Alcohol, same thing. You're masking it. And you can't drink yourself out of it. You can't smoke yourself out of it. It's going to be there.
Yeah. And so it's interesting you bring that up because I mean, I used to wake up in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock and I couldn't sleep. And I don't know if this counts as self-medicated, but I would smoke weed to go back to bed.
Yeah, it is.
And that's not, I mean, it was just one of those things. I mean, it did calm me down a little bit, but that they always ask me, every intake place has asked me, like, do you drink alcohol? Like they're very concerned about that. Luckily, I don't drink at all really. So, but I understand a lot of people probably do, right? And would that be a sign?
Yeah. I mean, over medicating. Absolutely. Like self-medication. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's masking. I mean, if you're sitting at home and you're pounding, a half a bottle whiskey or something, and it's just to take the edge off. It's not taking the edge off. What is the edge you're trying to take off? You know what I mean? It's going to be there in the morning when you wake up. It's still going to be there. You need to get into a group. You need to find like a peer support group that you feel comfortable in. You need to get yourself engaged in other activities, whether it's, if you played hockey when you were younger, try to get back into hockey. If you like for the women, if you want to, take ballroom dancing, you want to just get yourself involved in something. It's going to help you with that trauma. Talking with people is going to help you with that trauma. You're going to meet a lot of people out there that are the same as you, and they're just looking to meet you. EMDR is great.
So the question is, do you have any experience with EMDR, eye movement desensitization, and reprocessing? I know it's used for veterans. It was recommended to me after my brother passed. Yeah,
EMDR works on a lot of people. However, it stirs up shit. It'll actually stir up a lot of the problems.
What do you do?
What happens is they dig a little deeper into what the problem is. All right. Say if it's a childhood trauma, it may trigger that again, and you may have a lot of. So you should really shop your clinicians when it comes to EMDR. If you see somebody that's a clinician and they've only got like 2 years as a clinician and they're certified EMDR, you're going to want to dig deeper. You're going to want to go with somebody with a little more experience in being a clinician than just being certified EMDR. It's good and it's bad. I know people have had great success with it. I know people it has not helped them.
Interesting. I didn't even know what that was before right now. So I've learned something today. Anybody else have any questions? If you have anything, guys, just fire away. Let's see. I might have missed some. Let me see here. I worked for the VA for years, and the red tape. Yeah, people say that a lot about the VA. Is the VA helpful from your experience or not?
I will tell you, Meg, we have right now, Massachusetts is the forefront for post-traumatic stress. They have groups that meet at the VA in Lowell. The Lowell has a VA center. It's a VA clinic center. And they have meetings there all the time. And they have them there specifically for Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. So the war on terror, global war on terror. They have groups specifically designed for them. They have groups specifically designed for Vietnam vets. So that the VA is stepping it up in our area. You go out like Midwest, you can't even touch us. But Massachusetts is doing very well with our VA programs.
Now, let me ask you about this, because I went through one of these partial programs. Alexander says, I highly recommend a partial hospitalization programs, great stepping stone. So I did one of those, and I'd participate sometimes, but for the most part, I found like it's easy to say nothing. And then when I do that, I don't get anything out of it. Like it's easy to just sit there and just a lot of PowerPoints talk, and if you don't, I don't know, I feel like I'm the kind of person who does better with a one-on-one, but from your experience, do people have success with partial programs, which are like small group therapy sessions?
Yeah. And you know what? No shoe fits every foot. Some programs work for other people. I'm going to say that if you go there, it's what you put into it is what you get out of it. If you go to a big group therapy and that's not your thing and you don't say anything, you don't talk anything, you just absorb, you're not going to get anything out of it. You have to engage, you have to interact. So if that's not your thing, then it's not your thing. But I would tell you, try it all. See what fits for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I could tell it was cool though, because there was a bunch of people who I would not normally hang out with or associate with. I could tell. And they were just so supportive, like these complete strangers, and I was supportive of them, and they were supportive of me. And you realize that we're all just human. And even people that, shame on me, maybe I would have made fun of these people. Maybe I would have not liked them or not wanted to get along with them. But when you see like their humanity, almost it's
eye-opening. It's eye-opening when you're now in the shoes of others that you've never walked in before. You start to think a little different. You start to go, you know what? Ooh, maybe I was a little rough and a little unsensitive to this, and it's like it's humbling, you know what I mean? And mental health is very fragile. I say it all the time, especially with COVID going on we're all being secluded. We're not seeing our family as much. It's taking its toll on us. Jaxx had something here and I wanted to see if we could touch that.
Jack, where's Jack?
Jaxx, Jaxx, 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, Jaxx has shared in the comments about a family member that died from suicide. Let me see if I can. Do you remember what Jack said it's not enough sometimes. This one.
No. So what? Yeah. So I'm looking at the thing and it says 13-year-old boys are hard to talk to sometimes, especially since I'm a single mom. So Jaxx, what I would recommend is getting him involved in something. Finding what he's involved in and try to get him into a group with it. You know, try to get him into a group that's something that he would enjoy. I'm not saying like Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts are good for kids, certain kids. Like it's robotics class. If he's a musician, try to get him into music lessons. Try to get him into theater. Try to get him to something that'll break him out of his shell and will help him with that. Try to, to give him something where he feels like self-worth.
Yeah, I see Jaxx backstage. Jaxx, could you just wave for me so I know I'm not going to get, there's a thing called porn bombs. There we go. Okay, thank you. Like what they do is they make these fake accounts and then you bring them up and they put porn on the screen. So YouTube shuts you down.
Yeah,
do that because they must have like a thing for that. I don't know.
And then Uncle Gus, I will tell you, how do you overcome it? You basically just flip them off and tell them it's not weak. You got to do what's for you. You got to do what's going to make you a better person. You got to stop listening to other people. That's what my biggest thing was, because for the longest time, I was a soldier for 10 years. I was in the, I was a police officer for 16. And I was stuck with that. You're a hard guy. You have to be tough. You have to be strong. You hide your emotions, everything else. And finally I was like, I just can't, I just got to take care of me. And there's a saying that I learned from one of my lieutenants, is a great guy, is you can't take care of number 2 until you take care of number 1. And if you're not taking care of you, then you can't do anything else. When you're being affected, you're not the best mom you're going to be. If you're being affected, you're not going to be the best dad you can be. You know what I mean? And that's what you need to do. You got to get you on that track to be the best that you can possibly be. Kick aside all the shit that people are saying, like, oh, only pussies get help, or only pussies say that they have feelings are hurt, or whatever. Throw whatever colorful word you want in there, but you got to get help. That's what you need to honestly do.
But so where'd Jaxx go? Jaxx, I just brought you on. If you want to come back on, Jaxx, I wanted to hear from you there. I saw you in the background. You seem to be gone now. So if you'd like to come on, Jaxx, there is the link. Thank you, Carolyn. Says, how can we donate to Hidden Battles? People want to know.
So you can go to our website. It's hiddenbattlesfoundation.org. There's a donate link right there. And I will tell you, 94 cents for every dollar that's donated to us goes right back into our programs. We're 100% volunteer. We have a 6% annual fee for all our legal, accounting, and everything else.
Okay, and you're a registered 501c3.
So we're actually a component fund of a 501c3. We actually grew really big. We first started as we were just going to be a scholarship program. And then, so we went and we signed on with the Greater Lowell Community Foundation. We said, we want to be a scholarship fund. How do we do this? And they said, well, this is what we'll do. And we'll put you under our umbrella. We signed a contract with them and we've been with them ever since. It would cost more money for us to run our own 501c3 than to have them do it for us. So we just feel that the more we can put into the programs, the better off we are. And that's the way we do it.
So Jaxx, are you there?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, so when COVID started, my son was involved in basketball, football, he went to school every day. And when he lost that, I would take him places, but you could tell that he wasn't the same anymore. Yeah. He's autistic, he's high functioning. So he has a hard time expressing himself anyway. So it just seemed like now, he's started to fail all his classes because he has a really hard time learning over the computer. Yep. And he just started to get really down on himself, but he wouldn't talk to me about it. I didn't know how he was feeling until after he tried to do what he tried to do.
Yeah.
And it was just devastating. He's a 6 foot, 180 pound, just turned 13. So he's got all those raging hormones, and all that other stuff on top of feeling worthless, and it's just really sad. And I wish that he would have, talked to me or somebody before he did what he did.
So I would say, like I said, get him involved in something. Get him in. So
he just started football again. Thank God.
That'll be good for him. And then don't be afraid to reach out to the parents of the other kids that he's friends with and try to set up get-togethers, not play dates. That's the worst thing, but get-togethers, social get-togethers for him.
Yeah, that's another. He has a really hard time making friends. So I try and talk to the other parents because he's a good kid. He's a nice kid, and he's just has a hard time approaching people because that's just part of, him.
Yeah. Yep.
And
No,
Jaxx,
I understand that.
you posted earlier that you've experienced suicide in your family.
Oh yeah, my sister killed herself 10/4/19 after many attempts. But when we were little, our mother used to try and commit suicide in front of us. So I feel like it was like ingrained in us that that was a normal coping mechanism. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you're a product of your environment, if you think about it, which is
Exactly.
unfortunate. Sorry for that. But no, I honestly, I think if you were to try to maybe even get him into a boys club where he can go,
Yeah.
I will tell you good things for depression is moving around, hiking, running is huge. Especially you can use the running aspect as an excuse for him to get into shape for football. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So try to do that. And I've read studies where they say that the same effects that EMDR, like we talked about earlier, does for processing in your brain. They say that runners, long distance runners, marathon runners process trauma a lot more and a lot more efficient because of that left foot, right foot rhythmic pattern. It's almost hypnotic. So runners are usually mentally strong because they process, and athletes that way too because of that.
Yeah.
So like when we talk about that, like rucking is good for us because of the fact that somehow it works. Like a clinician could explain it a lot better than I can. I'm just that regular guy,
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I just
thank you.
wanted to just watch your kids because I didn't know how deep. Like I knew he was sad, but I didn't know how sad.
Yeah.
And then I felt even worse than I felt.
Yeah.
It's like, how did I let that happen and not see that he was that sad?
It's not your fault. I mean,
no, absolutely. And if you go on AFSP's website, they actually have a program strictly for teenagers. I want to say it's like Jared's Friends. I can't remember for the life of me right now, but if you go on there and look at their resources pages, there's a whole program specifically for kids his age.
Oh, good. I'll check that out. We're just waiting because we're waiting on his mentor now because his father has been incarcerated most of his life and will spend the next 15 years in prison. So it's hard. I feel like it's kind of hard for him to talk to me about, certain things. He's a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah. And he's got a rough go of going on top of everything,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Hey,
Thank you. And good luck.
Bye, guys.
It's funny she mentions incarceration there. Do you ever deal with prisoners?
So yeah, I do actually go, and I go to the House of Corrections and I speak to the incarcerated veterans. I talk to them because they're in their own little separate wing called the Humvee unit. So it's a housing management unit for veterans, and I go and talk to them about suicide prevention and stuff like that.
It has to be rampant thoughts in jail. Like if I was ever in that position, like 10, 15 years in jail, it's like, how can you not think about that? Yeah,
I mean, depression's huge, especially, and throw in the whole culture of prison. You know what I mean? Where, there's the whole culture of prison is you have to fall in with a certain group. You know what I mean? And if you're one of the that doesn't fall in a certain group, well, that adds stress onto it. My brother, when I talked to him a lot, he used to deal with a lot of suicides at the prison where he worked, and it wasn't even a match.
CO, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't suicide high in corrections officers too?
Yeah, actually it is.
Yeah.
They actually had a very high suicide rate. The last couple of years has been extremely high for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stressful job.
Yep.
And you're subjected to a lot of terrible things on a daily basis. I'm sure it can be the
grind. And think about prison. Yeah, and think about that environment. You're working in a sense, you're working to protect the people that are inside this facility, right? You're there to protect inmates from themselves and from others. And you're the enemy. You're locked in there with 30, 40 people who have nothing but potentially want to hurt you or harm you. So throw that pain and that trauma on there also. And then the trauma of seeing these people self-hurt themselves. And it like I said, it adds up, and people are just humans. Corrections officers are humans. Then you have prisoners who are actually witnessing this trauma are now taking it too. So.
Are there any fundraiser events coming up for Hidden Battles that Turtle Riders can donate to? People want to know.
So we actually have some fundraisers coming up. We do a big fundraiser in September. It's a cornhole family tournament. The only thing that costs that day is the cornhole tournament because it's a cash prize. But we have live music, we have free food, we have magicians walking around, we have jumpy houses, we have kid zones, we have a whole bunch of different things that happen, and that'll be at the Bunting Club. I believe it's September 25th. It's a Saturday, so we have that. We also have a big event. 22, the number 22 is related to the average number of veterans that take their lives daily. So we have an event that's actually. I don't have the right sweatshirt. I do right here. So we do an event called the 22 for the 22. We do a ruck march that's 22 pounds in your ruck. It's a 5K, a 10K, or we do a complete loop, which is actually 18.5 miles. So we have that. If you want to donate to that, you can donate to that. You can sponsor a rucker. And that's actually free. It's a $10 charge to register. And that's just to lock people in and commit themselves to it.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, do you have a phone number people keep asking?
So we are not a helpline. It's funny. We have, M-Job. 22 vets average commit suicide a day. Especially in COVID, the numbers went up. So we're not a support line. The number that we have for Hidden Battles goes right to my phone. And like I said, I am not a clinician. I am, I'm not therapy. I'm a guy who cares about other people. I've taken some courses. I'll help you if I can. But that's the only number we have. Like I said, if you're struggling, we're going to send you off to people. You can fire us off an email, and I can help you every way I can with resources. You can hit us up at, Scott@hiddenbattlesfoundation.org. You can go to our website. There's a contact us there. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. And you can reach out to us that way. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, most of you guys are probably on Facebook. You can reach out that way. There's a lot of ways I'm sure you can reach them electronically.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're hopefully you're not finding yourself in that situation, but if you just need someone to talk to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Fire me off a message because I listen. If I give my phone out, and you can find my phone number, but if I give it out, I've had guys call me just to harass me because we were, we're pro-military,
I announced that you were coming on 20 minutes ago and you've already gotten harassed.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, this is about mental health. And if you're going to harass somebody for trying to help people with mental health, then you really got to look back at yourself. And so Chris just threw our stuff up there. Chris is, he's the director of marketing for Hidden Battles. Chris is a great guy. And we've talked about it. Well, like mental health is so important that we really need to get out there. We need to help, everybody.
Yeah. So, all right. Any other questions, guys, before we let him go? I know you're a busy guy. I didn't want to, thank you, by the way. Thank you for taking time to speak.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Like I said, anything that I can do to help guys, and girls. So.
Yeah. I mean, have you noticed a difference in suicide rates in cutters or self-harmers? People want to know, like recently because of COVID stuff, or no?
As far as cutters go, and self-harmers, I don't know. I don't know really the specific details involved in what happens with people and how they self-harm. I know that a lot of people, when they are cutters, it's a different thing when it comes to suicide than it is for cutters. It's more of a self-abuse thing, and it's definitely something that should be addressed in therapy. Whether or not it escalates to suicide. I mean, when I was in the military, there was a guy that was in there with, and he was a cutter, and he never took his life. It was a coping mechanism. It was an out for him, and for me to diagnose it, I can't do that. But if you look into it, it's not directly related to suicide. It's not. It could be a telltale sign, and it could not be.
Do you higher rate in men, I would assume, suicide, or no?
I honestly don't know.
Okay. All right. All right, cool. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. And
one second, somebody just asked if there was resources for Vietnam vets.
Okay.
And yeah, I definitely want to say that the VA Center in Lowell is amazing. Definitely go there and ask for May. May is one of the clinicians there, and she will definitely help our Vietnam vets out.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on and your time. And I'm sure you and I will keep talking. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And if anybody ever needs to reach out, now they know how to do that.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Take care, Aiden.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good one. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. All right. So that was yeah, good guy, man, doing God's work there. And like I said, like he's in Lowell. I mean, Google it. There's probably organizations right around your whatever city you live in. There's something out there. There's a lot of good people in this world. That's one thing I've realized from this whole shit. Like most people are actually really, really good. I used to think that most people were actually shitbags because of what I do for a living. But no, I think most people are actually really good people. And I've had people that reach out to me like I read a couple of those before. You know, they said like, let me read a couple more. Like some of these are freaking deep, man, deep, deep, deep. Another guy says to me, I've been struggling with PTSD and depression for years. It comes and goes. I just want you to know that when you did that article for me, you really, really helped me out. And I really appreciate it. I was going through such a bad spot and you took it upon yourself to stick up for the little guys. Just know that you're not alone. You barely know me through a hole in the wall, only through Facebook. But if you need anything, so this person was actually, I think they were being picked on by somebody, and I wrote a blog defending them, and it was a really tough time for them. Another person, today is going to be a great day. I too go through serious depression and fixate on suicide at times. I don't know that I could ever go through with it since I have my son, but I wanted to tell you that many of your articles have turned my frowns upside down and brought so much laughter. Another person says, yeah, I mean, these are heavy. Thank you for being so open and honest about your struggle. I've been dealing with depression for what seems like forever. And I've only started talking about what a struggle every single day is for me. And I'm almost 40. Sometimes I just want it all to end. But just like you, I have my two little ones that keep me going. Thank you for being you and keep it up. You've helped me. You've helped way more people than you can ever imagine. How about this? Just little things like this. I think it's really great how you've been so open about your mental health struggles. As someone who was 45 minutes late to work yesterday because I was having, and that's one of the things he mentioned on there, because I was having an anxiety attack, I'm so thankful people with influence like you are speaking out about your own struggles. This time of year is always hard for me. I think it's something to do with the less sunlight and cold weather. I just wanted to say a quick thank you, and hopefully it gets easier. You know, another person says, my shit started when I was a teenager. I'm 38 now, but hit peak after high school and into university. I suffered in silence, literally has hit from everyone until my mom found me covered in blood after a night I cut myself up and went to bed, hoping not to wake up. First time in my life I saw my dad cry. Told me if I ever try it again, the one person I never want to let down was my dad. Depression is a serious sickness. True depression, not just bitching and moaning about the world, but when you cannot see a way to improve, cannot even tell exactly what went wrong, but know 100% you're the cause and feel like any effort will just make it worse. Meds help, but they don't fix it. Purpose helps the most, but I warn you, the more you care, the more anxiety you will develop around whether you are doing enough to protect it. I'm talking about everything: kids, wife, job, house, money, car, yard, friends, etc. Literally everything that is important will become an anxiety, and for good reason. But learning to deal with it is the hardest part. You love your family, that's clear. I mean, this is so heavy shit. Ironic. I encourage people to seek help and take their mental health seriously. Meanwhile, I secluded myself from everyone in my weak moment. But I don't like people to see me as vulnerable. And that's why your show on Tuesday was incredible to watch. It shows that it can affect anybody in any moment, no matter how strong their exterior seems to be. I'm already feeling better than I did the other night. I reached out to another friend, so I thank you both for listening. And I pray you start to completely heal too, as you continue getting help and helping others. Guys, thousands of messages like this. Like, it was freaking insane. Insane. Thank you, John Alano. I appreciate that. Is that John Alano, my former student? I had a student named John Alano. But thank you, John. Anyway, that is heavy shit. Oh, Bret's calling. Hey, you want the StreamYard link? He wants me to he wants. Yeah, I'm still taking. You want? Yeah. Well, they can't. Okay, talk to 13 Kings. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Oh, Emm Tee. Okay. You still take? Okay. All right. All right. Thanks. Bye. Bret's advocating for you here, Emm Tee. So if you want to call in, there is the link to anybody that wants to call in. There is the StreamYard link. You just click on that. It's really easy. Just hop on. Anybody that wants to. It is the John Alano, my former student. Hey, John, how you doing? Good guy. Let's see. Anything? All right. So anybody who wants to call and can do it. He knows you're doing the show, right? Yeah, he was telling me to get this other guy to call in, Emm Tee. So Emm Tee, if you want to call in, there you go. Just click that again. It's really easy. All right. Yeah, I mean, this is a heavy show, man. So like my shit's like everybody's shit that makes them depressed is different. Obviously, some people dealing with trauma, and my kind of thing is not that. Like if I were to tell you my whole story, at the end, you'd be like, that's a fucking crazy story there. Like, you got taken for a ride, you know? And it's like when you look back on it, like it was fucking wild. That's all I got to say. Traumatic. Best thing I can deal with it. And like once you realize, I don't know, I don't want to get too into it, but it can be little things that you don't think would actually push you to that, but actually do. Hey, Emm Tee, do you mind just waving so I know you're a person and not a porn bomb? And I see Norm there. I'm going to get him after her. Emm Tee. Emm Tee, can you hear me? Just give me a wave if you can hear me, Emm Tee. Okay, I'll bring Norm on, and then hopefully Emm Tee can just wave. You just got to put your camera on for 1 second. I'm not going to... Oh, there she is. Okay, I'm going to get Emm Tee first, and I'll get Norm. Okay. Hey, Emm Tee, how you doing?
Hey. So I had a laugh because that guy was saying don't medicate with booze, but here I am on drinking wine day.
Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm okay. I just, this topic has sent me over the hill because COVID sucks.
Yes.
And I have a 9-year-old who I have found suicide letters from since this has hit. It's been extremely tough because I was suicidal my entire life. I've tried more times than I can count. I lost a brother to suicide. I lost an ex to suicide. Friends, you know, it's everywhere. But to see a 9-year-old saying, I wish I was dead, is like the most horrendous thing because you can't, there's nothing you can do. You can't help them. You can't explain what's going on in the world. Things are going to get better because it's not. Kids are not going back to school. Shit's not getting better. Therapy is through a fucking telephone or a camera. There's nobody. There's nobody for these kids. There's nobody, you know, one of my best friends, he drug addict, terrible heroin addict. And his last run, he went to a hospital and they shot him down. He had been there too many times. His insurance wouldn't cover anything. So they sent him on his way, had his papers, and he went and stood in front of a train in Norwood. And that was the end of it. And you know, so now I've got a 9-year-old who's...
What'd you say to your 9-year-old?
It's tough to say because, you know, you don't want to not explain like, hey, your uncle died this way. You don't want to, you know, it's such a tough thing because you don't want to take away from the fact that he died from depression. He died because he experienced terrible things and there was no getting out of it. But you also don't want to give ideas. Like my biggest fear is to say he hung himself and she's going to take that and hang her. You know what I mean? You don't want to help them out, but there's nobody to help these kids right now. There's nobody. And it's awful.
Right now, I mean, I hope people listen to this. These teachers that refuse to go back to work and do their job, and these kids are suffering because they're afraid of a fucking virus. with a 99.9% recovery rate, where your child is writing suicide notes. It's disgusting. What a shameful, shameful society we live in that allows something like this to happen.
It is. It's absolutely disgusting. And it's, you know, even when I was in school, suicide and depression, it was big. We had kids that killed themselves when I was in high school, and there was nobody to go to. Whereas now it's such a big thing that you would think almost there should be some way to pull every kid aside. No kid's going to start that conversation with their teacher. Hey, I want to off myself. No kid starts that conversation. I'm sorry, they don't.
No.
So if there were more options of people, you know, pull the kids aside one by one, every student in school, whatever you have to do, get more, they're not going to talk to the parents. She doesn't want to talk to me. You know, there has to be something.
Scott made a good point. Get him together with your friends and give your kid a hug the second he wakes up every morning. That's the best you can do. And
It's right now, it's all you can do, but it's not good enough. It's really not good enough. There are people, you know, I hate to say it, but you read about these little kids that are hanging themselves, killing themselves. You have adults hanging themselves, killing themselves. You have drug addicts dying constantly. And you know what? It's easier for me to find drugs than it is to find help. It's easier for me to find, you know, ways to kill yourself on the internet than it is to find ways to help yourself on the internet. It's disgusting. It's awful.
well,
But the fact that 9-year-olds, these little kids, I'm sure my daughter's not the only one. There's little kids, under 10, wanting to fucking kill themselves because they can't take the situation.
it's unacceptable. It's a tragedy, and it is a shameful part of American history that we allowed something like this to happen for almost a year now. So I'm really sorry about that. But if you ever need anything, you please feel free to reach out to me and just talk to me, talk to your friends. I mean, I'll be your friend. Like, so if you ever want to talk to somebody here.
I appreciate it. I hope if there's teachers, schools listening, just get the kids in because it's literally killing them. It is.
It is. All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night. I'm going to bring Norm on now. Norm, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What's up? What do you got? What do you want to share?
Hey, man, I don't want to make this a sad song. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this, calling into something or.
Yeah.
I've been following Unc since day one, and this thing has hit me hard because I've been suffering for a long time, and to see you come out and say it gave me the balls to come out and private message you and maybe, you know, calling into this will give me a little bit more balls to say a little bit more to the people who are trying to help me, like my therapist, my psychiatrist, my doctors. I was in a 20-year marriage where my ex-wife was, you know, dying of MS. It's all over this country. Had a successful career as a Harley salesman. You know, I ran into, you know.
Did you say your ex-wife is dying?
Of MS, multiple.
That's awful. Awful. So, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead. Hello?
2 kids, a 16-year-old girl, and yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I got a 16-year-old little girl. I got a 16-year-old girl and an 11-year-old boy, and you know, life was tough, and you know, at some point my mental health got too bad to be a struggle, you know, that I couldn't deal with, and one day I just asked for a divorce, not even thinking. I just did it.
You asked for the
and
divorce?
within 24 hours, I did.
Okay.
Within 24 hours. And she was moved in with her parents, and I got a call, said, I'm going to keep you from your kids.
And so
never a history of domestic. I obviously got my real name on here. Never a history of domestic, never a history of DCF. Nothing.
Yeah.
Never anything bad. And within 24 hours, I was served with a restraining order. Within 5 hours of that, I had 5 law enforcement agencies at my door because she said I was going to kill myself because of what I said over the phone. And I had to stand up with the police. I can't even believe I'm saying this publicly. And Within 48 hours of that, I was hauled into Ludlow for 55 days. Never a criminal charge.
For your own protection.
Since then, it's been a year and a half since I've seen my children, and I've never missed a day in their lives.
Wow.
I
hear that, man.
I have psychiatrists. I have therapists. I have doctors. But calling in to say this is just that, us grown-ass men, us bikers with tattoos who are bearded and look like the guys who can handle it all. We snap. And, and
you're only human.
I was maybe not the best husband. Like I said, never anything bad. Like, I'll stake my life on it. I know who I'm talking to. It's 𝗟𝗶𝘆. I've been following since day one. I've never had anything bad happen. You know what I mean? But to lose my kids, they found me with, bipolar, PTSD, from losing my grandfather in my arms about 19 years ago. The sexual abuse, mental abuse as a kid, physical abuse, it comes to a fruition. And to hear somebody who's in the public eye, who's not afraid to come out and say it, gave me a little balls to come out and say it. And I've been busting Bret's balls for years. And, I've been talking to you for a long time. And I figured I'd come out and say, people are struggling with it too, man, just like you, just not in the public eye. And,
Yep.
I hope everybody gets help. And, you know what I mean? It's a tough thing to go through. Finally, somebody's shedding some light on it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, man. And have a good night. I'm going to take another call now, but I appreciate you sharing that.
All right, my brother. Easy.
Peace. I'm going to add Chris here. Chris, how you doing? You're muted, Chris. Let's see. You're self-muted. You got to unmute, buddy. You there, Chris? We can't hear you because you. Hey, how you doing?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. What's up? What do you got?
Perfect. I want to say, there's always some telltale signs out there, right? So if you got a loved one, they're showing the signs. Don't overlook them. Oh.
Have you experienced this before? You sound like you're speaking from experience. You muted yourself again, man.
Oh, perfect. All right. Sorry. It looks like I'm disconnecting, but what I'll say is there's always the telltale signs, right? So my little sister, she tried committing suicide a couple of times throughout her life. And there was a point in time where I look over at it, and the day she most recently tried it, if I wasn't there, she would have killed herself. She lost her kids. We saved her life, and she's got them back now. But, I wouldn't do anything different looking back at it.
She tried to kill herself, your sister?
Yeah, she definitely tried to kill herself.
And you talked her out of it, or?
No, I physically restrained her until the police got there.
Jesus Christ. If you don't mind, what was she trying to do? Cut herself?
Started with an argument between her boyfriend. Yeah. And next thing I knew, she's trying to throw herself out the window.
Jesus Christ. Did she seek help after that? Did she get institutionalized? How did she fix herself?
Yeah, she got admitted for at least a week and a half.
Jesus. Sorry to hear that, man. But how's she doing today?
She's good. I don't really talk to her too much. I think the situation kind of soured our relationship because she lost her 3 kids for about 2 months.
She got them back.
Yeah, she got them back.
She's
but
alive because of you, so.
Yeah, I think looking back, she kind of blames me for the situation, right? Like, if she had gone out that window, it would have been just, everything would be peachy keen, right?
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that.
Hey, thanks for all you do, man.
Yeah, God bless you. I'm going to bring Michelle on now. All right, Michelle, I'm going to bring you on in. And then Bret is in the background too. Hi, Michelle. How you doing?
Hi, Aiden.
How are you?
Good. Thank you so much. I know it's getting late. I just wanted to call because so many parents are in the chat saying that their kids are really suffering. And, we've all been hearing it, but I really think it's gotten to the point that this has dragged on for so long that even the kids that were coping pretty well with the pandemic as well as they could are just starting to fall off now.
Mhm.
My 8th grader, the same Saturday that you had your panic attack, that night I was in bed and I got a text from my 8th grader saying, "Mom," and he probably thought I was asleep, but he said, "Mom, I'm feeling really depressed." And I just happened to be awake, and I said, "Okay, what are you feeling?" And this kid is a straight A student. He's an athlete. He's never had an issue, ever. And my husband and I knew that he's been feeling down. We can tell he's not himself. But, he's also an 8th grader, and this has been a nightmare. And we've been giving him all the support he can. So he texted back to me, I feel really hopeless. I can get through the days, but when I'm in here alone at night, I don't want to get up the next day. So I went up and I talked to him, and we talked about depression. And he said, at first this was supposed to be 2 weeks, and then it was going to be until the end of the school year. And then we were supposed to go back to school, but we're only back to school 2 days a week, and we can't talk to each other, and we have to wear the masks. And it just, like he started talking. Long story short, I've taken him to his pediatrician. We're keeping a really big eye on him. The night you came back, Aiden, that Tuesday night show, I had him sit and he watched it, and that really helped him.
And how old is he?
He's 14. He just turned 14.
Okay.
And because, I've been watching the lives Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for a long time now, but the entire pandemic, I don't think I've missed one.
I know you're a regular.
Yeah. So he knows Mom loves Turtle Boy, and Turtle Boy, says the F-bomb every he thinks
I'm
you're
working
cool.
on that. I'm trying.
I know you are, but he really, he wouldn't think of you as being someone that could get depressed.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So to him, that was, and I feel terrible for you, but I know you're going to be okay. I know my son's going to be okay, but I feel for these parents that I'm seeing in the chat tonight, and they've all got kids that are.
Me too.
The pediatrician said, he's like, my pediatrician went to Harvard Medical School. I love him. He said, this is almost criminal, what's being done to these kids.
Great word to describe it. Almost criminal. Almost criminal. What is happening?
And when you're feeling better, Aiden, I'm going to hold you to what you were saying a couple months back, that we should organize. And I don't think it'll do any good, but just, I feel like the tide's turning a little bit against these teachers unions, but I need to do more now that I can see what they've done to my.
Well, we were planning a protest, actually,
right.
A rally, and then this should happen, and I got to go reach out to that group again. I'm in, but I'd love to do an in-person protest at the MTA offices, because enough is enough.
Yeah,
for this shit. This is woken me up tonight to this crap.
It's ridiculous, and like you said, they're afraid of a virus. It's absolutely asinine. And all of these parents that, I recognize their names from seeing them. And we're all going through this with our kids, and listening to you talk about your daughter just wanting to be in school. It's criminal.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much. I'm going to let you go because I'm sure you've got other people. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm going to bring, you have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
I'm going to bring on Bret real quick. We got Bret as always. Bret, just give me a wave to make sure it's you. I know there's a lot of fake Brets. All right, that's him. What's up? I saw the middle finger. I knew it was Bret.
Hey, so
what's up?
Do you see how much good you do, man?
Well, it's not me, man. I mean, it's
no, but no, it is you. Your audience only knows you. You understand what I'm saying? Oh no, I can explain it if you want.
I think I get what you're saying, that they wouldn't have an opportunity to meet Scott without me.
No. Scott is awesome.
Yeah.
I have nothing but respect to him. I'm talking about my friend that was going through a really shitty time. And for a second, and you can admit this or not, you thought maybe this ain't worth it, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
there's been times where you've been, right?
Like the pain was so bad. Like not like it's like not like a physical pain can't compare to an emotional pain. The
No,
pain
not even a little.
was so bad that like my world was, I just felt like crumbling, and I'm like, it's the pain that you felt in that, and then I came down here into the basement, and I found one of these extension cords. I was, and I wanted to hurt myself. That's all I wanted to do, was just make the pain go away. And obviously, I don't have that in me, clearly, because I didn't do it or didn't
Why?
successful.
Why don't you have that in you?
Because it's too fucking painful, man. It hurts. It's really
No. Because at your core, man, and I'm saying this with all sincerity, man. Great. At your core, you know what's right and wrong, dude. And you know what you're doing is right. And all these slings and arrows, all of these fucking life-sucking pieces of shit that come at you, and you're still strong enough to admit you need help. And see, this is what's bugged me about all your little fucking podcasts about this. And this might lose me fans, and it might lose me you. I don't fucking know. But to me, man, you've made me stronger. And to see you suffer really fucking sucks. And it feels like I failed, if that makes any sense. Just shut up for a minute, all right? It feels like I fucking failed, because maybe me and the Dianes and the Britneys and the Amandas are like, whatever the fuck we are. I sometimes it feels like we failed in showing you how fucking important you are. And I know, dude, I'm telling you, there was a day, I'll go real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah,
a little Bret story. There was a day that I was sitting in my room, and my room, I had everything paid for me, man. I had a mini fridge full of booze with a Tim Brown sticker on it. My room was black with 𝗟𝗂𝗃𝗲. Like, I had a gold not MasterCard. What is that? American Express. Like the card that doesn't ask you if you have the limit. It just goes, yep, buy it. I had all of that. And I ended up on my futon with a 12-gauge shotgun under my chin. Because during my cocaine addiction and the things.
Go ahead. Speak.
Just shut up.
I'm listening. This is heavy shit.
And I literally I put the double odd buck, and I remember that click. And I don't know how many of you own a shotgun, but when you put that first round, it has this really hollow clunk when you load it in. Like you didn't click it yet. You just put that round in, and it goes clunk. And then you go, and the round's in there. And in my head, I knew that there is a round of double odd buckshot. And if I put it right here,
it would be painless too.
Just shut up.
Oh, sorry, man.
If I put it right here, I end the embarrassment that I bring on to my family. That I end everything I don't want to do to the people I love. It all ends if I just put 3 pounds of pressure onto this little sliver of metal, man. I'm probably not explaining this well.
Can I ask you a question real quick? How old were you when this happened? How long ago?
32.
So
32.
Okay, and it was and you're 50.
I'm 50 now.
Okay, and so you were just at a low point in your life. Were you a poly yet?
No, I wasn't. See, that's the thing. I wasn't at a low point.
Mhm.
I was at a high point. I had a gold Amex I didn't have to pay for. I had everything I wanted. But the demons and everything in my head, I couldn't be happy.
And
You know what I mean? Like,
have those demons? Are they still there, or?
oh, they're still there.
Yeah.
Dude, not only are they still there, but they frolic, son. They like dance a jig every time I get sad.
It's the worst. I know. It's the worst, man.
Well, no, it sucks because, like we said, like your thing is you go on these, in my opinion, manic phases. Like everything's great, yeah, and then one thing goes wrong and it's boom into the pit, and you're just sad. You can't move. For me, it was I'm such a burden to the people I love that if I just spray my head against the ceiling, they stop suffering. You know, like that's the point that gets me with you. It's like I don't think you see your importance.
Exactly how I
and
felt. But that is exactly how I felt. I mean, I'm gonna be perfectly honest.
Of course it is.
I felt like when my kids are older, well, like I think about that all the time, about like when they're young now. But what happens when they're 15, 16, and then kids in school start talking about Turtle Boy and make, you know what I mean? And it turns into they become targets, or these assholes start going after them. And like part of me was just like, I can save them the embarrassment of that. You know what I mean? I can save them.
Yeah.
You know, and
no, that was my thing.
Yeah.
That was, hey, my family will no longer be burdened by the armed robber, shit talking, fucking, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like they can be cleansed of that. He did what he was supposed to do. He offed himself. That's no longer a part of us. You're a part of us, man.
Well,
us? No, just please, just 2 seconds, man. Our us depends. It depends on you. We don't have a voice without you.
Yes, you do.
No one else speaks up for us, man. Who else? Tell me who else, and I'll shut the fuck up. And now I'll be a cunt. Fine. Tell me who else speaks up for us, and I will shut the fuck up forever.
Well, I guess no, like individually you could speak up, people could speak up, but I guess no one with like my platform, right? And my ability to reach large amounts of people.
No. See, you're looking at it wrong. You're our voice, man. Fuck a platform, fuck anything. There has been people tonight, just tonight, I will guarantee you there's been at least a handful of people that decided tonight it's okay to reach out. If you've never accomplished anything, man, fuck the state police, fuck Mosaic, fuck all that ratchet bullshit. You've reached people that were at a point in their life that they were going to go away. And because of you, they haven't. You don't see the measure of that, or?
I do. I don't hear, like, you know what I mean?
You don't believe it, right? You don't believe it.
Now that I've gotten all these messages, to be perfectly honest with you, but I never thought of it.
What did I text you yesterday? I texted you a screenshot of your post, and then I zoomed in on the likes and hearts. Remember?
Yeah. No.
Yesterday I did that, right?
Yeah, I appreciated that. Because you were like, you know, I put a post up about that, like Turtle Boy's back. I'm gonna have a blog out, and it got like 800 likes. Like whenever I do something like that, I mean, it's just social media, but it's really more than that. Like you have all these freaking strangers who are like inspired and enjoy seeing something like that, and they want to support you even though they don't even know you, you know. And that to me means more than anything. And people will say, well, they're just strangers. They're not going to have your back. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I could call Scott whenever I want now. And I bet you he'd like that guy. People like him are like who have experienced shit like this. They're dedicated to it. You know, they're dedicated to it.
I fucking love that. That Scott guy was phenomenal tonight, son. Cool. And every turtle rider should like, love, and support that man.
Yes,
he is a fucking great motherfucker.
Yeah, he really was.
Dude, we love you. Everyone loves you, you piece of shit. All right.
Not everybody, but yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
It was
well, the people that don't matter, son.
And it's a horrible thing to say that, you know, how I was thinking, you know, just like that. I'm like, I wanted to save them the embarrassment of that, you know, and, or, you know, like you start rationalizing and you're like, well, you know, like I had a friend die he would have had his 40th birthday the other day. He died of, he smoked heroin and nobody knew he was into heroin. They found him. He was so good at hiding it from his wife that he was doing it in his barn upstairs. And that's where the wife couldn't find him. And then they found him in the barn and he'd been dead for a while because he was so good at hiding his addiction. And you know, his kids were 5 and 3, which is the same age as mine now. And I remember being at his funeral and like the 3-year-old, I remember she's like, it was hard. Like she asked her mom, like, why is daddy, like, when is daddy coming back? She said. And I haven't seen that family since then, really. I've seen pictures of them and stuff like that, but they are 10 and 8 now, probably, or maybe a little older. And, you know, I look back on that and like what I sadly told myself, because I thought of that because they're the same age, was like, they can get a new life. You know, they can, it's going to be better for them. That's what I convinced myself. It'll be better.
Well, that's part of the thing. Like Scott said, you're justifying shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's what Scott said. Please, riders, link or whatever. That's what Scott said. They're like, oh, well, they'd be better off without me. Like those are those that.
Yeah, that's the first thing you convince yourself of. That like, no, it's okay. This is for the best. And that's
yeah. I'm doing the right thing.
Right. They're like, this isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, a lot of people die and they'll be like, I have life insurance and they will like this.
Hey, real quick, how many viewers do you have right now?
There's 132 right now.
What? So there's 132 people at 11 o'clock at night on a Thursday.
Holy shit, it's almost 11. Holy shit. Yeah.
We love you, man.
Well, I love you guys.
And I don't know how much these niggas need you, but I do. And I'm not even fucking joking a little, man. And like I said the other night on the show, you have made me decide to be a better person. I literally push negativity out of my head. And you know me, I love negativity. And I push it out of my head because I need to support you. Because without you, we don't have a voice, man. So now listen, here's 2 choices. I'll be the dick. You can either succumb to this and walk away, and then these people will come to me and I will lead them down a path of destruction and mayhem. Or you can get yourself right. Let me, Dave, production team, and everyone else hold the fort. We need you, son. There is no one else that's going to tell us the fucking truth. There is no one else that's going to show us the hypocrisy surrounding our existence. If you can't handle that anymore, that's fine, dude. I get it. But I think you can. And I think when you come back at full strength, we're going to run through all these motherfuckers. And we're going to do like your favorite quote. And we're going to fuck. And we'll come out on top. Because you, sir, inspire people. And you, sir, are a leader. And I don't give a fuck. I might suck your dick come springtime, son. But I love you. Mwah.
I love you too, I love you too. You're a tough sell, you know that, like with like I'm trying to convince people that like because of your language, obviously, you're a tough sell. I always tell people, and I've had people reach out to me. Then they're like, when I first started watching, I wasn't a fan of Bret, but then I listened to him, and he's like actually witty and funny and sharp, and so people like you too.
I can work on it, man. I can lessen the vulgarity. I can.
But it is what it is. I mean, maybe over time you'll phase some of that out, but it's just you being
like you said that other day on the show that I'm your guy and stuff, and I didn't get to say this to you. You had me in tears. You had my wife in tears, man. You telling me how much I'm right and how I've always had your back and all that shit.
Always right. I'll give you that much.
Listen, I look over at my wife. I heard like, and I look over, and my wife has her little thing in her mouth, and she's looking over with tears running down her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "If people knew how much you gave a fuck, they probably wouldn't like you." And I gave her a hug, and I was like, "Don't tell anyone, bitch." And fucking, they don't see.
But
it is what it is, man.
You sniffed out the snakes amongst me and the rats way before I did, and I sometimes I doubted you, but I'll never doubt you again because you've been 100.
Nah, you're supposed to still doubt me. That's what makes you good at this, is you doubt me.
Yeah, but like, I'm also naive.
I can't be the only voice of reason. Then we're all fucked. Then we're all fucked.
Yeah,
because I'm doom and gloom. I only think the worst.
Yeah.
It just so happens that a couple times I thought the worst. I was right.
No, you were definitely.
That's all.
Especially on some major people, who have caused me problems, and I appreciate that.
All right, I'm gonna fucking head out.
All right, brother.
I love you. We love you. We're doing a regular show Saturday, I think, aren't we?
That's the plan.
And I'm doing my pre-show smoke at 8.
Just don't pull a Peter on me and go and do your own spinoff.
No, my plan is I'm gonna do the pre-show smoke, and I'm gonna poison them on you. Then I'm gonna beat my kids up and pretend it's your fault.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm gonna do.
All right, brother. All right, man.
All right, man. I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Man, thank you. All right. All right. So thank you there. I'm just Bret. First impression isn't the best impression. Yeah, absolutely right about that. Thank you. And also thank you to Jen G. Says, Bret, don't change in TV. This was such a great show tonight. So I don't know if you guys have any more questions. Just a couple minutes and we'll call it a night. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining us. This has been a really cool experience. And yeah, you could Bret has his own YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and subscribe to that. Maybe you can drop it in the comments. And yeah. All right. Any more last minute questions, guys, before we call it an evening? Man, quite the freaking show tonight, man. People just stick around. A lot of good shit came out tonight. Heavy, but important to talk about, I think. Important to talk about. Woo, heavy, man. So I'm, every day with me is like I never know how I'm going to feel the next day. Just eliminate toxic people from your life is a good thing. And when you eliminate them. Don't let any people that cause you negativity in your life continue to hang around. Right? That's the best thing I could do. Don't dwell on them. Thank you, Emm Tee. Don't allow them to take control. Take control. Be your own master, and don't let anybody else control your happiness. Because there are people out there who matter. If people are putting you in these spots, then they're not good for you. You need to just cut them off from your life completely, and you'll be a lot better off. You'll be a lot better off because this will pass, and you'll look back on it one day. If you're alive, obviously, you will look back on it one day as, remember that shitty part of my life? Yeah, I'm glad that's over. Or I'm so much better off because of that. It's always how it turns out. You're always better off that way. And it's just getting through those shitty times that, puts you in that. And that's the hardest part sometimes. But, all right, anything else, guys? Yes, you can. I won't even say the name. That's correct. How was your day today? Not very good, to be perfectly honest with you. I think a lot of my situation, my depression comes from the fact that like I love what I do. You all love what I do, obviously. But what I do causes other people pain. I don't care about the people in the blogs. I'm talking about, people I love that get affected by what I do. And that pains me more than anything. And that is a major cause of this. And just like, when there was another organization that didn't, I mean, thank God Scott came on, but, other people that are like, our board won't let us do this. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So it's, and I think he showed it like he's already getting shit for it, but you know what? Who cares? Like they're just trolls. They don't matter. And what matters is somebody might have watched this tonight and had thoughts, and they might reach out to him, hopefully, or an organization close to them. Who knows? All right. Anything else, guys? Any other questions? Yeah, you can hate whoever you want to hate. Absolutely. I won't watch that. You're in control when they're talking about you, but you're not talking about them, because that's how you know that they are the ones who are obsessed with you. You got to take that power back, man. Once I realized that bad people like that, shitty people like that they thrive off of attention from you, right? Narcissists, people like that. Then you take that power away from them and you stop giving them attention. What do they got left? What do they got left to hurt you with? Nothing. And then they can be obsessed with you. And you don't even know about it because you've cut them off, And so I won't even watch that bullshit anymore. It ain't going to be part of my life anymore. Fuck them. They're nobody. They're absolutely nobody. And I matter. They don't. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Anything else? Yeah, smash that like button if you haven't already, guys. And yeah, I'll post Scott's link later on for sure. And I don't know what the future holds for me. We'll see. Whatever it is, though, it's for the best. That's the bottom line. And you love the people that you love and you care about them, and you put yourself in the best position every day to take care of yourself and your health and your family. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do, folks. All right. Anything last 1 more minute, and then we'll call it a night. The link to the hidden battles is in the description. That's good. Okay, good. All right, guys. I guess we will call it a night then. I thank you guys all for coming on. It's been a long one, but a good one. And we will see you guys this weekend. Peace, guys.